WordPress featured image. In this tutorial, we are about to know how to use WordPress featured image as a background image into our theme. Stay tuned. Now, in our previous tutorial, we have seen that we have brought this WordPress featured image into our theme as an image source. This is the index page or the home page of the theme, and we can see that we have a featured image activated for the first post. But now if we click into, we can see that there's a different image size of the same image which is been imposed into the single.php page, that means into each individual post wherever the featured image is now activated. This is the functions.php, and we can see that we have practically set featured image into WordPress. Then we had put all the stuffs right over here. I think there's a slightly problem here. Cut it off and put it into this function such that there isn't any problem. Now let's get back and reload, and we can see that everything's back into its order, so there's absolutely no problem. But always try to register those sizes into the custom function that we have created in this purpose. Now there's a problem with this kind of image source. The main and chief problem is that if we press Ctrl+Shift+M and get back to the mobile responsive preview, we can see that we have already acquired this horizontal scroller. That means the whole image is getting bigger than the device which we are previewing on. So this is the problem that we are practically about to face. Another thing that we can do in this custom style sheet.css, on top of everything, we may mention some kind of image max width property right over here, but this ain't a good idea always, because in some cases we might need some separate image property which will be taking the 100% width as well as. So there's a problem in preventing this with the aid of this custom style sheet.css. That means we cannot stylize our image element right over here. On the other hand, if we get back to this content.php, in case of Bootstrap 4 responsiveness, there is a special class known as image fluid, which is used to make our images mobile responsive. But this is not going to work in this particular case because there is practically no such definition of images either in this content.php or in this single.php. All it is doing, it is using a definite WordPress function, so there is no scope of practically using any kind of image responsive classes along with the image which has been produced right over here. So the only choice, the only shared choice that we are left with is to create a different div and then import all those featured images as the background of that div. And in an order to do that, we need to create a definite div first. We need to mention all the specific styling properties into it, and then we need to fetch that particular featured image media as a background image into our project. So let's hop in. First of all, let's comment this thing out here. We ain't been needing. Let's get back to our project, reload, and we can see that the featured image is now gone from this single.php page. But if we get back to the main or index.php, we can see that there's practically a thumbnail view. I am keeping it in the same position as it was in the prior case. Now in the second case, all we need to do, first of all, we are declaring a variable as background, and here we are using a definite WordPress function known as wp get attachment image source. So we have made usage of this WordPress function right over here. In the next case, we are defining everything, but first of all let's create this theme. In the next case, we are trying to get the thumbnail ID where we will be fetching the post. There it goes. And in the second case, we are mentioning that the returned image, it should be full in original dimension. Now here comes the thing here. What is this WordPress function doing? We are practically using the current post's ID. We are fetching its attachment, and among those attachment we are fetching the image source, whatever image attachments it has into that particular post ID. And all those image attachments returned, those should be full or original in dimension. So this is the first thing that we are going to do right over here. And in the second case, all we are going to do, we are going to create a div which is having a class of featured image. Now here, first of all, let's create this individual div, and here we are creating a style where background image should be, what should be the background image? Square bracket on, and we are putting this 0. So what we have done right over here, what about this array right over here? Because so far we haven't defined any kind of array anywhere, but we are practically fetching the first item of the array. So what is going on right over here? All it is going practically, whenever we are fetching some image sources with this WP get attachment image source here, it is practically fetching an array of all available images present into that individual current post. But we do not have a need of fetching each and every images. We need the one and the only definite featured image from that current post, from where all these attachments are returned back into WordPress. So that is why we are practically fetching in the first item of that particular array of all available images, whatever present in that particular post ID. So this is why we have defined it as this one, and we have set this as a background image URL. Now all we need to do, let's get back to our project and reload. Definitely we won't be viewing anything here at present because we haven't defined anything about any CSS styling property about this div that we are practically creating here. So in the next case, we will be copying this class from here. We will be getting back to custom style sheet, and here, so we are putting this width to 100%. We are mentioning a height of, for say, 500 pixels. So far it is. Now let's get back to our project and reload, and we can see that the image is now appearing as the background image of this whole of this individual post. So if we get back to home, we can see that this is the thumbnail preview, and if we click into it, we can see that this is the banner preview, which is practically using the featured image as the background image of a particular div.